So I've been refereeing for about 2.5 years, and I just got promoted to the semi-professional game here in England. And I started out where most of us do, as a level 7 referee at the bottom of the ladder, refereeing at the lowest level of English football. And after passing my fitness test, as well as going to the level 4 induction day this past weekend, I am now officially a level 4 referee. Now, this is great, obviously. I'm very happy with this. But I do have some bigger aspirations. Level 4 sits in the middle of the referee rankings, but only about 5% of referees operate at that level and above. And they officiate at steps 5 and 6 of the non-league pyramid. For those of you that aren't aware how the football pyramid works, at the bottom, you've got referees that keep football alive every single weekend. The youth referees and the level 7s. They officiate your kids' football, the local recreational leagues, and sometimes known as Sunday League. These leagues usually operate with one town, and the matches are played in local parks. So think of your local pub teams, mates just getting together to play on weekends. This is typically the 20th to the 14th division of English football, where there's about 2,700 teams across the country. You then move on to level 6, and they operate slightly higher than this, typically refereeing your first set of regionalised leagues. And I use the term regionalised loosely, given how small the catchment areas are, but I can't really think of another word for it. And this is the 13th and 12th division of English football. And this will consist of about 1,700 teams across the country. Moving to level 5, these referees will officiate at the highest level of county football. So this is basically the final stage of your local refereeing. Teams at this level will probably start to charge a small entry fee to spectators to help with the running costs of the club. And this level consists of about 800 clubs, and it's the 11th division of English football. And although it's the 11th division, it's also known as step 7, okay, so I'm going to need you to stay with me. You then move on to level 4, which is where I am, and this is where you leave your county and you join the National League system under the National FA. This is really the first step of what we call the non-league pyramid, and this is where a lot of players will start to be paid for playing. You'll start seeing some small crowds at matches, or some pretty big ones depending on the team. This is the 10th and the 9th division of English football, also known as steps 6 and 5, with around 650 clubs playing at this level. When referees get to this point, they actually have the option of whether they want to specialise as a referee or an assistant referee. I personally am going to continue to do both, but just know refs do have the option. This means that I'll be an assistant referee for level 3s, and they officiate at divisions 8 and 7 on the pyramid, also known as steps 4 and 3, where around 250 teams play at the level. To give some context of the depth of football here in England and the support that this level can carry, the largest crowd last season at step 3 reached 4,784 between FC United of Manchester and Hednesford Town. You then have level 2 referees who officiate the 6th division of English football, also known as step 2. The reason I say divisions is because it's split north and south, with 48 teams playing at this level. And you'll probably recognise some of the teams here, such as Dorking Wanderers or Farnham Town, who both do quite a lot on social media. And then after this, you have the professional game, which is where I've got my eyes set on. So how am I going to get promoted to level 3 and reach the top 1% of referees in the country? Well, at level 4, referees are in a league table against all the other referees in their region, also known as a pool. You're assessed on 4 different criteria: club marks, online learning modules, laws of the game exams, and observations. For club marks, each club will rate you out of 100 after each match, based on various areas of your performance, and this accounts for 10% of your total score throughout the season. LMS are learning modules. Referees complete online learning modules throughout the season, and the completion of these account for 15% of your total score. And then we also have periodic laws of the game assessments throughout the season, and this also accounts for 15% of your total score. And then the biggest one, observations. This is where an FA observer will come out to a match and grade your performance. This accounts for the final 60% of your score. These marks will basically determine where you sit in the referee merit table and ultimately whether you get promoted or not. Typically, only a small number of referees get automatically promoted, with the remainder getting invited to an assessment day, and that's basically a day to prove that you're ready for the next level. And then the FA will make a selection from those days to see who goes forward. But it's also important to note that as a new level 4, I am exempt from relegation back down to level 5 for the first season. Now, a lot of people see this as an opportunity to settle in, an opportunity to take it slowly and adjust to life at the next level, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but not me. I'm looking at it a little bit differently. Imagine you're walking a tightrope, right, with a safety net underneath. Obviously, you need the same amount of skill and concentration to cross it as you would if there was no net, but you're going to be far more likely and willing to push yourself because you know that one mistake isn't going to cost you everything. And that's how I plan to approach this season, right? I want to referee with absolute freedom, with no fear of being relegated, and I think that's going to allow me to referee the best that I can do. And that way I can try and push for promotion at the first time of asking. Now, obviously, getting promoted is my main goal. The issue with setting this as a standalone goal is that I can't actually directly control it. I can influence it, I can give myself the best chance, but I can't directly control it. The laws of the game and learning modules can be controlled by me, but as you guys have seen now, 70% of it is up to the clubs and the observers. So instead of setting one goal of getting promoted, I've set 5 goals of how I'm going to get there. Before I set goals, I like to do what's called a pre-mortem. And that's basically like a post-mortem where you analyze why something happened, what went wrong, except with a pre-mortem, you do it before it actually happens. So I've basically put myself a year from now, and I asked myself the question, Eric, you didn't get promoted, what happened? And I sat there and I imagined all the reasons as to why I wasn't able to achieve it. And a lot came to my mind. Eating poorly, drinking, relying on motivation, letting the pressure get to me, blaming work, blaming family time, blaming the kids, whatever it may be, right? The list could go on and on and on. So here's how I plan to get promotion. 1 is diet. And the reason I put this first is because this is 100% within my control, and I'm in full control of what I put into my body, and I will make good decisions about what that is. This obviously doesn't mean that I'm not going to enjoy myself, go out and have some good food and a couple of drinks with my friends, but it just means that I'll pick better moments to do so, and it also means that I'm really, really going to miss the McDonald's on a Tuesday night driving home. 2, self-reflection. This one is paramount for me. I would go as far to say that you cannot truly be great at something unless you have the ability to self-reflect and learn from those things and make the changes. For those of you that have been around for a while, you'll know that actually I do try and do this every single week after every single match, and I obviously share it with you guys. And being honest with myself about my performance is going to be essential for my development. It's very, very easy to kind of defend yourself as a referee, and don't get me wrong, in certain situations that is absolutely important, but I also think it's important to remember that we do get things wrong. And again, this kind of behavior is 100% within my control. And a big part of that will be the KMI panel, where you guys will vote on my decisions throughout the season and track my accuracy throughout the year. And if you want to join that, you can join down below. It's about £1.50. 3, take my training seriously. This is something I was struggling with at the back end of last season. I had some ankle and hamstring issues, and pretty much this was because of poor diet and lack of training. And one of the areas of the observations is fitness and work rate. And to be honest, as a healthy 29-year-old, there's absolutely no reason for me not to be picking up extra marks in this area, because I should be less tired towards the end of matches, and then I should also be in better positions to make better decisions. I'll be working with one of my friends, John, who's a level 2 referee on the training program. Hopefully I'll be able to share some of that with you guys. 4, seek guidance from those ahead of me. One of the most important things that I've realized in life is that someone else has probably already done what you're about to do, so go and find them, right? The wisdom and the learning that can come from speaking to people ahead of you on the journey is something that you really cannot put a price on. You can't measure it. It's unbelievable. They will have made mistakes and they can share those with you, which means you don't have to make them along the way. Thankfully for me, I'll be allocated a coach or FA core, but if I wasn't, I would contact some older referees in my area, contact my local FA for a mentor, just like I did last year. And last but not least, I want to enjoy the process. At the end of the day, the whole reason I do this is because I truly love it and I love the challenge. And it gives me such great pleasure to know that the journey and my videos are helping thousands of you with your refereeing or just understanding the game better in general. And I want to continue to enjoy it. I know for a fact from playing and refereeing that when I'm enjoying myself, it really does allow me to perform at my best. So that's how referees get promoted here in England and how I plan to get promoted to level 3 and into the top 1% of referees next season. I hope this has helped you think about the way that you set your goals for next season, or maybe just your life in general.